S.I.N Radio.
Greetings, man. Peace to the world. Peace to the ancestors, the spiritual God, ascended masters, universal divine presence. I'm your host, Mr. Mercy.
I'm your man, Cool Breeze.
And this is S.I.N Radio Cast.
S.I.N Radio Cast.
Yes, so we are finally back. We took a little break. There was a lot going on. And while we were taking our little breaks, Cool B, you and I decided that we wanted to add a new segment to the show. A lot of the shout outs to our last guest, Patrick Donaldson, the financial sensei.
Definitely.
He did a great job. I hope you all got some great information out of that show. The brother was very genuine and very transparent, and just like to thank him for coming on. And he came down here, live and direct to sit and build with me and build with Cool over there on the West. So just got to shout him out and all our previous guests as well.
Now, for sure.
Back to the segment. We wanted to do a segment, and we're going to call this segment Revelations.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to call it Revelations because we like to reveal a lot of things that the mainstream media doesn't cover, certain subject matters that might be too taboo for mainstream media, so on and so forth. Okay. And a lot of times we do shows concentrated on one particular topic, but sometimes with doing that, we miss out on so many other, topics that we could discuss at the time.
Right.
So, so we wanted to do that. So before we get into this new segment, we got to shout out our peoples at Turntable Tendencies, tttradio.net.
Mm-hmm.
Shout outs to DJ S.I.N, YZ, my man DJ Hobo, Hell Media, DJ Sospec, all the folks over there at Turntable Tendencies. And who else? I got to shout out my homegirl Tamara. She actually gave some suggestions for this show that we actually used on this show. So I'm going to have to give credit where it's due. One of the subjects we're going to be touching on is the subject of corporations buying up single family homes. And that was actually something she presented to us.
Right.
And so we appreciate you for that. That's considered a contribution. And that's why we always tell the listeners, hey, send us an email because we will give you your just due for bringing a particular subject matter to us.
Definitely. I'm going to say, if you want to hit us up with subject matters and just ideas, or just give us a shout out, hit us up on our platforms. We have the Instagram, the S.I.N Radio Cast. We have Facebook, which is S.I.N Radio Cast. Our YouTube page is S.I.N Radio Cast. And also email us at sinradiowave@gmail.com.
Without a doubt, hit us up. We will hit you back. So let's get into it, man. Revelations chapter 1, verse 1, first episode of this new series that we will be doing, and we will be covering various topics. Now, where do you want to start, man?
Let's start with the NFL making their players go out and get the shot.
The shot. Okay, so let's build on it. Let's build on it.
Yeah, let's do it, man. So pretty much, Mercer and I were discussing this about a lot of the NFL teams making their players go out and making it mandatory for them to get.
Well, no, it's not mandatory.
Not mandatory, but
it's not mandatory.
Not mandatory, but they're giving them an option on taking the shot or not taking the shot. But if you do not take the shot, it's like, well, you can't do all of the team activities to a certain degree. So
Right.
let me, refresh that.
Right.
So go ahead, Merce.
So yeah, so pretty much the NFL now has restrictions for players that that won't be taking that choose not to take that
Choose
shot.
not to take it, right?
Okay. And it's pretty extreme. It's almost terroristic to me as I'm looking over these things. I'm like, wait a minute, how are these guys supposed to function when it clearly looks like they're being almost punished for their decision? Because remember, we're talking about NFL players. We're talking about men who have worked their way to this level, have trained their bodies, have conditioned their bodies to take the punishment of a 17 now 17 game season. I don't know if
Yeah,
y'all realize the NFL actually increased the regular season by 1 game.
yeah,
So we now have 17 games before you even see the playoffs, right? And this is one of the most violent, if not the most violent sport. And these guys work out and they keep their bodies and their physiques,
tip top shape.
in top shape. Right. Now they have a protocol for the ones that don't get that shot. Here's a couple of things they'll have to endure because they made a choice, which everyone should have a choice,
Right.
not to do something, right?
100%.
So let's check this out. So um let's look at the ones that do not, well, the ones that do take the shot. They will
Right.
not be required to submit a daily test. Okay, they don't need to take a test daily. The ones who decide not to take the shot will be tested daily, every day.
Mm-hmm.
That is ridiculous. So somebody's going to be sticking a probe down these guys' nose
Every day,
every day,
every single
which
day.
which is ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
The players who do not, the players that do get the shot will
Mm-hmm.
not be required to wear masks at team facilities or during travel.
Mm-hmm.
The players that do not take that shot will have to wear masks at facilities and while traveling.
Right.
That's another one. The ones that did take the shot will not need to quarantine after being exposed, to the virus. Players who do not take the shot will need to self quarantine following exposure.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Players that did take the shot have no travel restrictions or limits on movement. No travel restrictions. No travel restrictions, and they can move freely. The players who do not take the shot will remain under the same travel restrictions as the 2020 season.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. The ones who did take the shot or do take the shot,
Mm-hmm.
weight room activities will be unrestricted for players who did take the shots.
Take it.
So
Yeah.
they don't have any restrictions in the weight room. And the ones who do not take the shot will be required to limit the number of individuals that are allowed to be in the weight room. So it'll be 15 individuals.
Right.
Okay. And here's another one. This is just crazy. So if you took the shot, you may use the team cafeteria with no restrictions. If you
Yeah.
don't take the shot, you must socially distance during meals and not allowed to eat with teammates. Now wait, but let's just stop there real quick.
It's crazy. It sounds weird, but go ahead.
So you're dividing the team.
Mm-hmm.
Is am I taking that the wrong way? Am I reaching here?
I don't think you're reaching. I think that from what it seems is that there's definitely a divide, but I think the divide seems like, okay, well, you took the shot over here for these teammates, so you're healthy. These people that didn't take the shot for these teammates, you can potentially make these people over here who took the shot unhealthy. Or you
But wait, what's the point of the shot?
That is the point. The point of the shot is to, I guess, from what we know, and what we know now is to, I guess, help people to prevent them from getting the virus, the COVID.
So that doesn't make any sense.
I know it doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. If you have a group of people that took the shot, they're supposed to be immune, right?
Exactly.
So what's the point of separating them from someone that didn't take the shot?
Didn't take the shot, right?
Because apparently only the people who took the shot shouldn't have to worry about the people who didn't take the shot, right?
Right.
The people that didn't take the shot should be worried about other people like them that didn't take the shot.
That is correct.
That's how it's supposed to be.
Supposed to be.
Right.
But what they don't tell you that there's been a lot of people who have gotten COVID and took the shot. Took the shot, not once, not twice, or maybe twice to their third shot, and they still gotten COVID. So they say. So the thing is, my thing is, so if you take the shot, are you still going to get COVID or not get COVID? Because there have been tons of people to come forward to say that they've had COVID after they received their second shot.
Right.
But then the thing about it is too, and this is this new information, something that I was reading up on, that even, well, say like you go out and you get the shot. Now they're saying that you can't really donate blood because you have this shot in your body. So this is something new that I saw, that I was reading up on.
So you're telling me if you receive the shot, you cannot donate blood?
This is what an article was saying. So the thing is that, and this is still new information that I just came across. Like, wait a second. So now I don't know how true that is. By all means, viewers, go and look it up. They're saying that if you get this shot, it's not really good to go out, or you cannot go out and donate blood because you have this shot in your body. So it's working and it's doing certain things. So we don't know if you donate blood to other people and you have this shot in your body and you had the virus, or even if you didn't have the virus, it's not safe for people who took that shot to go out and give or donate blood. This is what it was saying. So I think you're going to start to see more stories about this coming up in the media and things like that. So go out and do your due diligence and figure it out on your own and look it up.
Okay, so I want to touch back on some of these NFL restrictions, man. This one right here. This disturbed me a little bit because I think they're playing with the pockets of the players who choose not to get the shot. So there will be no limits on social media marketing or promotional opportunities for those that did take the shot. Right. The ones that don't take the shot are not allowed to have social media marketing or promotion opportunities.
Wow.
Is that not crazy?
It seems like they're getting penalized.
So they're being penalized.
Mm-hmm.
The NFL is penalizing players for having a fucking choice. That's disgusting.
Yeah. And I think that this is only going to be the beginning. It's only going to be the beginning.
It's not going to work. It's going to backfire. Work. It's going to cause a division within organizations. And the NFL is going to ruin its brand. It's going to ruin its brand. Okay? It's not a good look. You're playing with people's pockets. You find players for not wearing the right cleats, right? You find players for all this stuff. But what you're doing is you're creating a de facto fine to a degree by telling them they can't have certain promotional opportunities. Who is the NFL to tell these players what opportunities they should have outside of playing the sport of football?
Right. And also, if you look at it, as you said, it's creating a divide, but also it's like then you're gonna have the players who went out and got the shot. Now they're gonna look at their teammates like, look, dude, it's just like it's gonna cause a rift between the players. It's like, and then they're gonna start laying on a guilt trip. Like, listen,
Right.
we need to do this thing as a team. We're divided. How are we gonna win a championship if we're not on the same page? But I'm like, wait a second. This has really nothing to do with playing. It's about your health, short-term effects, long-term effects. And you don't know what this shot, because it's still a new shot. It hasn't been tested like that. It's still in less than a year, about a year, and you injecting people. It's sort of like a quick fix to something. So you don't know down the line if this is going to affect you having kids. You don't know down the line if this is going to affect you with your heart or your lungs or anything, any different thing within your body. And and everything affects people differently. Everybody's body is not the same. So you can't just say, because this is the sport, we're on the same team. I say, Merce, I got the shot. But you know what? I can't really be around you, even though we're on the same team. But that's not going to work. How do you expect these people to practice together? How do you expect these people to really sit next to each other and kind of like run through plays or just have a basic conversation? It's just going to be very weird. And I think it's not just going to be for one team. It's going to be for all of the teams, man. It's just not going to work.
Nah, I definitely don't see this working. I think this is going to backfire, and it's going to be an epic failure. And the NFL didn't really see this through. But what ticks me off is the NFLPA, right? They came to an agreement. So these guys represent the players, and they negotiated this deal. The NFL and the NFLPA came to an agreement on this. So if I'm the players, I'm looking at these folks that's supposed to represent us, and I'm looking at them sideways, because to me, that's a Judas move. That was just betrayal. Okay.
Yeah.
And certain players, I hope they speak up on this. Listen, NFL players, listen, it's your body at the end of the day. Yes, we know that, many of you had a dream of making it to the league, but listen, you shouldn't have to sacrifice certain things about yourself to participate in something.
Right.
Okay. And it sends a dangerous message. And I looked at something else. There was a rule here that a person who does take the shot, or a player who does take the shot, may eat with vaccinated family members and friends during team travel.
Right.
So the family members have to be, they have to take that shot. Okay.
Right.
So, but the ones who don't take the shot will be required to stay in team hotel for meals, may not eat in restaurants, cannot interact with non-team members during travel. Now, I'm hoping this is during the season. I'm assuming that this is for during the seasons, because I don't see how you can be telling guys not to go out to eat and enjoy a meal in the off season. And these things seem pretty extreme, because to me, all they would have to do is sign a waiver.
Right.
If the players choose not to take that shot, make them sign a waiver that they can't come after them. They can't come after the NFL or the team, for getting sick by another player.
Right. But here's the other thing too, right? Now, two things. One, so if you're in a hotel, right, or you're just walking past somebody, whatever, let's just say, for example, you get COVID just by doing that.
Right.
Now, so being that, if that happens, are there going to be any fines that these players are going to have to pay
Yes.
behind that?
Yes.
And also, if they take the shot, right? And let's say the shot makes them sick or something were to happen to these players, knock on wood, hope it doesn't. Who's going to be held responsible if the medical companies who are administering these vaccinations, not these shots, let me take that back. These shots, administering these shots are not held responsible, right? Who's going to take the grunt of the lawsuit? Because they said, well, we wash our hands with it. This is not on us. So who's going to be held responsible? Are the teams or is the NFL going to be held responsible if a player takes this thing and their family says, you know what, we're going to sue or we're going to do this? Who's going to be held responsible for that?
They're not. They probably got them signing a waiver, like all the other people that take it. So they're not going to be under scrutiny for this. They're not going to be able to come after them financially because I'm sure that they covered their bases. Right. Now, here's the even more dangerous part about this is how this is going to affect certain players' careers. Now, if you're a star player, you might have a little more, leniency for not taking that shot.
Not taking it.
But let's say you're like a role player, star. You're a guy that comes off the bench for depth. They call them depth players, right?
Right.
You give the star players a break. Are you going to be under more scrutiny because you choose not to take a shot? You choose not to put something in your body that's foreign? Will you be on the chopping block as opposed to another role player who decides they will take the shot? I mean, this is very dangerous.
On so many levels. Is there so many different variables when you sit down and you really think about this whole thing? Because the thing is that you got to think about the stadium workers,
right?
The players, the staff, anything that the people who are actually on the field, putting the field together and maintaining everything. It's just not just, it's from before you even enter the stadium to everything that's happening in the stadium to and will they then say, you know what? And which this is what they started doing, will they then say, you know what, a lot of our fans who are coming here, who are true blue loyal fans, take this shot. If you don't take this shot, you can come, but your tickets are going to be a little bit more higher than the people who actually went and took the shot. So if you didn't take the shot, your tickets are going to be higher. But if you did take the shot, we're going to throw in little perks and stuff for you, being that you are one of the good people. And you came in here and you did what the right thing was to do.
Right.
You're good. So it's it's sort of like laying a guilt trip on people. But they already started doing this right now for concerts and different events and things like that, venues. So it's like, if you didn't take it, why did you take it? Because I have my reasons for not taking it. So listen, they're giving people cheeseburgers and fries,
lap dances,
free
lap dances, hustlers,
pizza.
Larry Flint's.
I'm like, dude, is your health worth a chicken sandwich? Donuts. They're giving away donuts. I'm like, listen, man, it's just like, you don't scratch your head and think like, okay, you're giving away these things so I can put something into my body that's going to affect me as a person. And once again, it may not, or it may have long-term effects. They don't know that. There's so many different tests that certain people were doing to these animals, and these animals were getting sick and dying. And it's like, wait a second. Then you want to come up with a quick fix plan for humans to take this thing. I'm like, something is just to me
under the guise of a public emergency.
You said what? Sorry.
And this was done under the guise of a public emergency, and that's why they were pushing this shot on people um, and making it come out in record timing, when in reality, these type of shots typically take about 7 years to really develop.
Yeah.
And you watched it be done in less than a year. That is very, very suspicious in
Right.
my personal opinion. And that to me, that tells me that I need to approach this cautiously. Now,
Right.
I have a good friend of mine who did decide to get that shot. He was an older gentleman,
Yeah.
and
You told me about this.
I didn't. Yeah, man, this is crazy, and this is a true story. This is not made up. This
Right.
is not some secondhand information. This is
There's a guy
firsthand
you
information,
know personally.
right? And I have several family members that did take that shot. Now, this gentleman, I hadn't seen him in a while, and it's almost like he dropped off the face of the earth. And he reached out to me last week, and he hit me up out of nowhere. I'm like, "What's good with you, man? I thought I thought you sailed into the Bermuda Triangle or some shit."
Right.
He's like, "Nah, man. I'm still here, man." But he was like, I went and decided to get that shot. And he said, right after he took it, he said, "Man, I couldn't even complete a shift. I was very weak." He said, "I just couldn't make it through my shifts. I kept having to go home early because I was not feeling good. My energy was just on 0%." And this gentleman ended up catching a stroke.
Wow.
He caught a stroke, and he told me right now he's in rehab right now. He is trying to get himself back to normal. And I'm like, wow. Like I'm sorry. I was just so sorry to hear that. I'm like, bro, I'm so sorry. He was like, and this is what he told me. He said straight up, "I will never, ever take that shot again. Ever." It was
So
one of the worst decisions he made. He said, "I
did
will
did
never
he?
do that again."
So here's the question: did he have any other health issues prior to him taking the shot?
Not to my knowledge. He didn't reveal that to me.
Okay.
Knowing him, he seemed like he was pretty fine to me. But
Okay.
what do I know? I don't have that information
Right.
on him or whatever. But he seemed like a pretty healthy guy for his age. And
But you know what? People will say that, maybe he was suffering from something else. Then he took the shot, and then maybe it wasn't really the shot. But either way, I'm just like, for him just to have a stroke like that directly right after taking the shot, I'm like, anything is possible. But the shot may have triggered something. I don't know. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm just hearing way too many stories, especially with like blood clots and things of
Yes.
that nature. Because I know it was the one of the companies, I won't say their name, actually had to put a pause on their shots because of blood clotting, because it was happening to multiple people, multiple people. So it's like, what is in that shot?
There's a lot of things in there, but that'll be a totally different show.
Yeah, it's a
And really
way
don't want
different.
our page to get flagged, so we're not really going to try to go
Exactly.
too deep into that. Now let's move along. We got a couple other topics to cover here.
Right.
And like I said earlier, a good friend of mine, Tamara, shout outs to her. She sent me an article. Actually, it wasn't an article. It was actually a video on YouTube. And pretty much what they were talking about is this major company, and I'm gonna tell you what the name of the company. The company is called BlackRock. It's apparently a company or some type of retirement fund that has been buying up single family homes and outbidding regular middle class people for the rights to purchase homes. Now, unless you've been under a rock lately, and you've been trying to look at real estate, you will know that there is a serious limitation of available real estate right now. And if you're looking to sell your property, you're going to get top dollar at the moment, because there's the supply is less supply than the demand. And obviously, supply and demand. If supply goes down, Demand goes up, prices go up as a result of that. And apparently, this company, which has some serious buying power, has been going in to what on the MLS, which is the multiple listing service, right? That's where people list their homes when they're getting ready to sell them. And this company is apparently outbidding regular middle class people who don't have as much capital, right? And apparently they've been outbidding these guys by 20. They're actually buying the homes for 20 to 50% above asking price. And they're buying the houses so fast within a matter of days. As a matter of fact, my stepson's best friend just moved away because his parents just sold the house and they sold it within a matter of days.
Wow.
Okay. In a matter of days. And not only that, the mortgage company actually, what they did was they actually paid the cost for them to move.
Oh, wow.
So their cost of moving was also covered in the sale.
Okay.
That house is already sold. And they were fortunate enough to find a house in another area in Georgia. So they actually were able to get out of a house, get some serious money for that, and they were actually able to take that money and flip some of that money they got from the sale into a new home, a home that was cheaper in an area that's a lot more cheaper than the Atlanta area, surrounding areas of Atlanta. So they won on that deal. So there was also 2 other homes that were built within my subdivision, right? And here's the thing. The rules with this particular subdivision is that like companies cannot buy the homes to rent out. But apparently that went out the window because there were two lots that were sitting vacant at the end of my street. And it's actually on the other street, but it's at the corner of my block. And what they did was they built up 2 houses recently. And apparently these houses were bought by like some type of rental company. And apparently that is not supposed to be the case. You're supposed to be individual looking to buy a home, because in my subdivision, they want the people to buy these homes and retire in these homes. They don't really want people coming in to rent. Okay. And apparently this company was able to, get 2 houses built, paid for it. And it looks like they're going to be putting some renters in there. So I kind of see where this is going when it comes to companies like BlackRock. They're getting a lot of media exposure right now for their ability, like I said before, to kind of buy things very fast, neutralize the people that are looking to try to buy the regular, everyday, hardworking people. They're able to come in with more capital and neutralize them, just knock them out of the whole bid. What do you think about it? Do you think that's fair that companies can come in and, with so much capital and,
I think that if you look at any company, regardless of if it's like supermarket or chain or just any type of company that's doing business, they're doing business, but I think they're putting their business first and they're putting their feelings second. So the thing is that it's sort of like this is what they're doing. We don't care. Our motto, our position, our mission is to just buy these properties, get as much money as we can. And the little guy, you got to do whatever you have to do. It's not our responsibility to monitor how much money you make, how you invest your money, or whatever. This is just what we're doing. You're either going to succumb to it or not. So the thing about it is, so I look at it like, I'm not saying it's right, but at the same time, if the person's coming in as a first-time homeowner, they want to own a property and have a yard or whatever, now it's going to be much harder than it would have been 10 years ago or 20 years ago, because it's like the supply and demand it's just not really there, you know?
Right.
And your money that you're getting is not going to be enough to get into a property that you really want to get unless you go out and you take out an extensive loan, and that loan that you have to pay back, you might be paying that loan back. You know, they have a 15-year or a 30-year. It might be a 40-year or 45, but who actually lives that long, you know? You want to be paying off a loan for a house for 50 years? Like, it's crazy.
No, that's ridiculous. That's just totally ridiculous.
Right.
Now, let me ask you this. A lot of people are calling out BlackRock for this, but I was reading an article. It was on a site called theatlantic.com. And
Yeah.
it was article was written by a gentleman by the name of Derek Thompson, and he was kind of defending BlackRock.
Oh, wow.
He says BlackRock is not ruining the U.S. housing market. So I like to look at things objectively. I like to look at from different
of course.
Right? I don't want to be one-sided. I like to be measured and even keeled. So what he's saying is BlackRock is not the problem. He said the real villain isn't the faceless Wall Street Goliath. It's your neighbors and local government stopping the construction of new units.
Okay.
So this article is pretty much putting the blame on other homeowners and also the counties who are halting construction efforts, which is creating the limited supply.
Well, here's what I'm going to say. Here out in LA, right? I think that I don't really think that construction has not stopped since I've been out here. I've been out here for a while. They have buildings and houses going up left and right out here. So construction has never stopped. But the thing about it is a lot of these buildings that they have that are up, they're not being occupied. They say that it's a housing shortage here, but then at the end of the day, who is going into these apartments? Nobody. These apartments are empty. So the problem is that there are not a lot of jobs out here for people to work to go into these apartments because there's a huge homeless crisis that's happening out here. And now they even building these small homes to house some of the homeless people out here. Right. And then the thing about it is, it's like, when is the economy going to open back up? Because remember, a lot of businesses, small mom and pop shops and major businesses have closed down, and some of them are never coming back. So I think that it's an issue all across the board as far as the company BlackRock, especially our local politicians and things of that nature, because there were tons of bills that were passed to house the homeless, to create more jobs. But now we're in a pandemic. Where are the creation of these jobs? Because I can walk around and tell you that this can be a job right here, that could be a job right here. There's no reason why you have so many homeless people on the street and the streets are dirty when you have a lot of people who are homeless who can function, who want to work, who don't want to be homeless, that want to get out there and work and do something productive.
So let me ask you this. Do you think a lot of this is somewhat engineered to a degree?
I would say this. The money that's supposed to be geared towards doing certain projects, where's that money at? Because I've seen a lot of the same things for years out here, and I know that there is money out here because Los Angeles and the state of California is not broke. This is a money state. There's money being generated all across the boards out here, just off of marijuana alone. How much money they tax out here for marijuana and tax these marijuana shops and the growth of marijuana and just the cultivation of anything dealing with marijuana, they tax the people a ton of money. Where is all of that money going?
Where has it gone? Inquiring minds want to know.
Yeah, where's it going?
Okay, so let's go back to this article real quick on BlackRock and this gentleman. He called out a few things. He says of those 140 units, and when I say 140 units, this includes mansions, tiny townhouses, apartments of all sizes. Out of those 140 million units, about 80 millions are standalone single family homes.
Right.
Of those 80 million, about 15 million are rental properties.
Wow.
Out of the 80. Of those 15 million single family rentals, institutional investors own about 300,000. Okay, only 300,000. Most of the rest are owned by individual landlords. Of that 300,000, BlackRock, largely through its investments in the real estate rental company Invitation Homes, owns about 80,000. So what they're showing you is the numbers. The numbers don't add up with this corporate takeover of single family homes.
Got you.
Like I said, he said 15 million out of the out of the 80 million, about 15 million are rental properties. Of those 15 million single family rentals, institutional investors own about 300,000. BlackRock only, and that's institutional investors, and BlackRock by itself only owns about 80,000 out of that 300,000.
So, and this is all across the U.S.
Apparently, this is across the U.S.
Okay.
So pretty much, and just to sum it up, this writer is saying BlackRock is not taking over the market like they're creating this boogeyman.
Right.
The numbers, they're pretty much saying the numbers don't add up. There's still way more individual owners of single family homes as opposed to companies that are looking to invest into single family homes. He's like, it doesn't even add up. So, you know, I wanted to look at things from, like I said, from different perspectives.
Right.
Now that number can be changing every single day.
100%.
And then we can look back 5 years from now, and that 300,000 could easily turn into 1 million. Right?
Right. Yeah.
By institutional investors.
Yeah.
So what I say that we as people need to do is we need to study, look at what's going on, and just like they have people leveraging their money, I recommend that we take our money and leverage our money for our benefits. You can't sit up there crying and moaning because these are individuals that collaborate, use leverage, and believe in sharing profits. The problem with a lot of our people is we're too damn selfish. We think about our goddamn self first and foremost.
Well, here's the thing, man. I think that a lot of people now are going to be in for a rude awakening if they haven't already been in for a rude awakening, being that what has all transpired within this year alone. I think once this whole pandemic hit, it kind of forced people to think, because people were in their daily routine, going to work, coming home, going to work. And I guess, and I've heard this from other people, oh, this pandemic thing is not really a big thing. You know, they were talking about when it first started happening, so people were going to work. And so when it started getting real, when they started canceling, I think a lot of people's pastime activities, like shows stopped, sports took a halt. So everything stopped, and they were like, whoa, wait a second, this thing is becoming real. So then it forced people to think. When people were getting laid off, then it was like, damn, what am I going to do? What's going to happen? So I think now that things are starting to slowly open up, and I'm going to say things are not ever going to go back to being normal. It's going to be what the new norm is going to be. So people had time to kind of figure out certain things. And if you didn't figure out what you needed to figure out then, within the last few months that we had, then you're gonna be jammed up if you haven't put a plan of action together, or put something that is gonna be solid for you or your family. Then it's like, you know what, we're gonna have a problem down the line, because some people can't even cope with what's happening now. And a lot of people are not talking about a lot of the suicides that have happened because of that. Like the suicide rates went up.
Wow.
on a global scale.
On a global scale, right?
And then the thing is that, you know, a lot of people have turned to drugs. There's going to be a lot of depression. There's a lot of like robbery now and murders and killing because of these actions that have taken place. So I just think that what people have to do is come up with what somebody once told me a few years ago, have a disaster recovery plan. Because when certain businesses are not doing well, they kind of figure certain things out to still get their money if this particular business or this branch of their business is not doing well, you know? So everyone should have what I call a disaster recovery plan.
Very good point, man. Disaster recovery plan. That is something that I feel that our people are seriously lacking.
Mhm.
You know, you see a lot of other ethnic groups. They have a lot of things kind of lined up just in case. A lot of them have doomsday scenarios, but
Yep.
it's always important to have those things. You
Right.
know,
Yeah.
I have a section of my garage where I store canned goods, non-perishable goods,
Yeah.
lots of water, because you never know, bro. You know, it all it takes is one official to hit up folks in different, you know, departments in business where, you know, you can have somebody shut off the food supply in less than 24 hours.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's very dangerous. And you don't want to be, you know, the person sitting there living week to week, paycheck to paycheck, um, with limited groceries,
Right.
uh, you know, in panic mode. As soon as you find out that there's a food shortage, everybody's going to do the same thing.
Yeah.
You're all going to run down to Walmart. You're all going to run down to Kroger. You're all going to run down to Pathmark, wherever you're at. You're going to run down to the local store. You're going to empty it out.
Dude, let me tell you, man. I remember when this pandemic first happened and I went to the supermarket, I saw people, and this is no lie, I saw people just pushing their carts down the aisle and just putting their hand on the shelf and just pushing everything in their cart. I saw like two people walking out of the supermarket, but not walking out paying for their food, but walking out of the supermarket with three carts. This is no lie, with three carts. One dude had his cart in the front, he had it in the middle, and his friend or his partner or whatever had the cart behind him. So they were paying. So this was like thousands of dollars worth of food that they were paying for in this one heat. And I saw other people walking around the supermarket looking confused because everybody was taking everything. This never happened to a lot of people. So I think that when this happened, everybody went into panic mode. So I think a lot of people have learned from almost a year ago that you have to kind of prep for certain things because, you know, how you live your life and how you know life to be is always going to be hiccups along the way. So it's like you just have to prepare, you have to save, you should invest, you should do all of the things that certain people were telling you to do. And you know, you can't just say, well, we're gonna die tomorrow. And then you don't die tomorrow and you're here for another few years, what are you gonna do? You know?
Exactly. So let's get to the next topic on the show.
Mm.
Are UFOs real? Okay.
Okay.
Are UFOs real? Now, the reason why I want to touch on this is because it's amazing to me what I'm seeing
Mm-hmm.
on the news, on these different outlets, right?
Yeah.
They're all showing you that the Pentagon is releasing a whole ton of videos
Mm-hmm.
showing unidentified flying objects. And it's crazy to me that people are not really talking about this.
Right.
I go on my social media, it's all about the NBA playoffs, it's about hockey, it's about everything else, but nobody is really talking about these reports that are being released by the government.
Mm-hmm.
And it's tripping me out because I always thought like if the government ever admitted that there were objects in the sky that were not man-made, that the public would take immediate notice and would, it would be a conversation in every household. Like, am I tripping here? Am I bugging out here? What are your thoughts on UFOs? Let me start there.
Listen, I'm gonna say this. For years, people have been talking about seeing UFOs since when? I would say since dating back to like maybe the 60s, 70s, 80s. So now, as we go through different decades, and we're in 2021, from let's say 1960, 1962.
Prior to that, way
But
before,
way before
early
that.
1900s.
Yeah, early, even earlier than that. But what I'm saying is that from, let's say, from like the 60s to now, you have more and more and more people talking about these objects and things like that. And you have more, I guess, camera footage, because everybody has a cell phone now. So that's what makes it different. So now people have cameras, cell phones, there are cameras everywhere. Doorbell cameras, cameras on the street. Everybody who has a cell phone has a camera. So people are recording and seeing the same thing. So I would say now you have more people that are not afraid to talk to their friend or talk to the next person about what they see, because everybody's seeing these things. So even the president or ex-president Trump was talking about it. And didn't he say that when he was in office that the government had X amount of time to reveal to the people that UFOs are real?
Yes, he did. He actually put it in the last the stimulus bill that he did, that the government, all the intelligence agencies had 6 months to debrief Congress on all the information they have on UFOs.
Right.
And a lot of people don't even know that. They don't realize that was actually in the COVID relief bill.
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
That was in there. If you think I'm BSing, go look it up.
Yeah, because I remember. Yeah.
Yep. You can do all that. You can look all that stuff up. As a matter of fact, I have the article right here. There's actually an article on CNN. It says the U.S. intelligence agencies have 180 days to share what they know about UFOs, thanks to the COVID-19 relief and spending bill. And this was just updated January 10th, 2021, this year. Okay. And it said that then President Trump signed a 2.3 trillion coronavirus relief and government funding bill into law in December. So began the 180-day countdown for U.S. intelligence agencies to tell Congress what they know about UFOs.
Yeah.
No, really. The Director of National Intelligence and the Secretary of Defense have a little less than 6 months now to provide the Congressional Intelligence and Armed Services Committees with an unclassified report about unidentified aerial phenomena. That's the way the government terms it. They don't term it UFOs. They call them UAPs. UAP, unidentified aerial phenomena. Okay. And this is real. You can look this up. It says it's a stipulation that was tucked into the committee comment section of the Intelligence Authorization Act for fiscal year 2021, which was contained in the massive spending bill. The report must contain detailed analysis of UFO data and intelligence collected by Office of Naval Intelligence, the Unidentified Aerial Phenomena Task Force, and the FBI, according to the Senate Intelligence Committee's directive. This is real, folks. This is real. Why is this not the talk of the town? Is beyond me. Oh, because you got a stimulus check.
Yeah.
Right? So this is amazing to me that there's all this stuff going on, and all we could talk about is basketball, football, and all the distractions that these people have lined up and put in front of us.
Mm-hmm.
and there's no real conversation. I mean, this is, you know, I've always known there were, you know, extraterrestrials since I was a young kid. And, you
Mm-hmm.
know, for a long time, you know, I got teased, oh, this guy believes in Martians and shit like that. But with the cell phone and the ability to capture strange things, you know, it just at the click of a button, it's really exposed the fact that there is some very strange things happening on this planet and in the universe as a whole.
Yeah.
And we got to acknowledge that we do not know it all. We're very limited,
Mm-hmm.
you know, when it comes to certain things. And
Right.
what scares the shit out of many of the government officials is that this intelligence is greater than ours.
Right.
And you often look at some of the reports and you can see that the government is kind of scared.
Mm-hmm.
Their officials are kind of scared because they're like, you know, they look at it as almost like a nemesis that they can't control. Because remember, all governments of the world is here to control the mind, government,
Right.
mind control.
Mm-hmm.
And when they cannot control something, they deem it an enemy.
Yeah.
Okay. The minute you stop cooperating with the government, you're considered an enemy of the state.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, we got to ask this question: if this does come out and they do admit this stuff as they're starting to show you the footage,
Mm-hmm.
what will change the society in your opinion? Do you think things are going to change? Do you think things are going to just go back to normal sports?
Now, it won't go back to normal. I think it will change. I just would want to see how that will always be the talk. Even if you have sports going on, it's like you watching sports, but you're like, okay, these alien stuff here. And I think people on Earth here will definitely try to make it marketable. You know, they'll try to make money off of it. While this is happening, people are just still going to try to make money. And I just want to know, like, the constitutional laws and how we live on this earth, will those laws be abolished?
Right.
What will be the change? Will we have another species that are living amongst us out in the open? How would that look? Will people accept that or not accept it? Or these other entities come here to take over, or maybe they were here before man. We don't know. It's just so much stuff, man, that I would say the powers that be know that we don't know.
Right. You know? And also, if we are not alone,
mm-hmm.
and now the government is suddenly telling us, yes, they're real, when we know the government back in the earlier 1900s were denying these things. So if they were denying this previously and now suddenly admitted to it, then what other things is the government hiding from us?
Right.
You gotta use reasoning. If you denied something and now you're suddenly admitting to the same thing that you denied, what else are you hiding?
Yeah.
Because if I was an individual and I denied something for years, hey, I didn't do that. I'm telling you I didn't do that. And then 20 years later, I admit I did do it.
Right.
What else could I have been hiding? You're going to naturally think that, right?
Yeah.
So I asked the people, listeners, if they can deny and then admit to something 50 years later, 100 years later, what else? What else are they hiding?
Right. Yeah.
You know,
that's crazy. So I don't know, man. I think, with that being said, it's I would say this: things are always going to come out one way or another. It's going to come out. It has to.
Has to.
So but that's our take on it, I guess. You know.
Yeah, the truth will come out, and the truth is out there, and it's coming. It's coming soon. And you know, one thing about the truth is people think the truth is always gonna like set them free, but the truth can be scary. The truth can be very scary. And
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are scared of the truth.
Right. Yeah.
A lot of
Because
people are scared of the truth.
I mean, listen, a lot of people are scared of the truth. If you're having a conversation with somebody and people just don't want to hear it. People just want to believe what they want to believe. And if something were to happen, then it's like, what can you do outside of that, you know?
Absolutely, man. Well, that's all I got on it, man. You know, you got any final words?
My only final word is tune in to S.I.N Radio Cast. You know, let us know what you think. Hit us up at sinradiowave@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, opinions. Are we crazy? Is it truthful? Is it not truthful? Let us know how you feel. Give us some feedback.
Absolutely, man. I totally agree. For all the listeners out there that's been rocking with us, you know, trust me, we do appreciate y'all. We it takes a lot of work for us to do this, but I'm just very appreciative of every last one of you.
Definitely.
Everyone that likes the video, anybody that shares this video. Much love, much respect, and looking to really build with some people in person. We're definitely going to be taking the show on the road real soon.
Yep.
And hopefully you enjoyed this first installment of Revelations verse 1, chapter 1. And we'll be coming back with more revelations between our episodes so we can discuss various different topics and subject matters and
Right.
you know, go down that rabbit hole a little bit more deeper. So hopefully you all enjoyed the show, and we catch you next time. Salute. I'm your host, Mr. Mercy,
Peace.
signing off.
I'm your man, Cool Breeze. Peace.